Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real simple. 30 days. That's all I'm asking you to give me. Not your lifetime, not your blood, not your soul, just 30 days. Because if you're willing to show up not perfect, not rich, not lucky, just present, then 30 days from now, you could be standing in front of the mirror looking at a new version of yourself. One that didn't just wish for change, but worked for it. And I know what you might be thinking. Can someone really change their life in 30 days? Well, let me answer that with a story. Let me tell you something. Change doesn't come down from the heavens like a miracle wrapped in gold. It doesn't show up with fireworks or music swelling in the background. It's not a lottery ticket. It's not magic. Change, real change, the kind that shakes you down to your soul and rebuilds you from the inside out, that kind of change, it starts with a decision. A quiet, personal, lonely decision. One nobody claps for. One nobody even sees. Until one day, they do. There was this man, all right? Let's not give him a name, you probably don't know him, but I promise you've seen his story in one form or another. This man was down bad, sleeping in his car. That's not a metaphor. I'm talking back seat curled up, clothes in a bag, windows fogged up from the cold kind of reality. No heat, no plan, no parade of people cheering him on. Just the hum of a busted radio and half a sandwich he was saving for later. Most people would have passed him and never even noticed. Maybe they'd speed up a little at the red light, pretend they don't see. You know how people do, and he knew that. He wasn't blind. But let me tell you what happened one night. He sat there, all alone in the dark, and he said something. Something small, quiet but strong. He said, "This ain't gonna be the end of me." You hear that? Not, "Maybe someday I'll be rich." Not, "When things get better, I'll try." Number, he said, "This ain't gonna be the end of me." That's a declaration. That's a man reaching his breaking point and turning it into a beginning. He gave himself 1 month, 30 days. That's it. He didn't say, "I'll try this forever." No, he just said, "Let me see what happens if I give it everything I got for 30 days. And you know what happened next? He didn't get famous. He didn't go viral. He got a job washing dishes, scrubbing crusty pans and greasy spoons in the back of some diner. But he showed up. Every day. On time. No excuses. Head down, hands wet, feet sore, but still moving. With every paycheck, he saved a little. Not much. Just enough. Enough to buy a gym membership just to feel strong again. To feel like he was doing something. And while other people were out drinking away their pain, he was hitting that treadmill, lifting those weights, listening to audiobooks while he worked out, feeding his mind while he built his body. Then he picked up a book, just 15 minutes a day, nothing crazy, but he was hungry to grow. He didn't know all the answers, but he knew one thing. Who he was at that moment wasn't who he wanted to be, so he kept going. Quiet moves, no applause. But every day he was casting votes for a new version of himself. And those votes, they started to count. Fast forward, that same man, same blood, same skin, same struggle. She owns his own catering company now, has employees, has clients, has purpose. And if you ask him what changed his life, I promise you he won't say luck. He won't say someone came and saved him. He'll look you dead in the eye and say, "I made a decision." See, that's what most people don't understand. They think they need a breakthrough, a lucky break, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But what they really need is to stop negotiating with their comfort. Stop talking themselves out of their own greatness. Stop waiting for the perfect time and start. You don't climb a mountain by jumping to the top. You do it one step, one breath, one decision at a time. And the first step? That's the hardest one. Because it feels small. It feels like it doesn't matter. But let me tell you something. Every great comeback starts with something small. I've seen people change their lives not because they had all the answers, but because they made up their mind. They said, "I will not die where I'm standing. I may be broke, but I'm not broken. I may be tired, but I'm not done." That's what separates the people who change from the people who stay stuck. It ain't talent, it ain't money, it ain't connections, it's choice, it's conviction, it's courage. Because the truth is, You're always one decision away from a different life. One honest conversation, one new habit, one act of courage. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be real. And I know some of you are hearing this thinking, yeah, but you don't know what I've been through. And you're right, I don't. I don't know your pain, your past, your private battles. But I do know one thing for sure. You're still breathing. That means the story ain't over. That means you still got fight in you. And if you've got fight in you, you've got hope. So don't wait for some miracle to come crashing through the ceiling. Don't sit around waiting for motivation to show up and carry you like it's some magic carpet. Motivation's flaky. But discipline, faith, hunger, those are things you can choose. You want to change your life in the next 30 days? Then start today, right now. Not with a plan that's perfect, just with a promise. A promise to yourself that you're done waiting, done wishing, done surviving. You're ready to live, ready to grow, ready to rise. Because if a man with no home, no job, and no support system can decide to rise from the back seat of his car to the head of his own business, then what are you waiting on? The mirror won't lie to you. The calendar won't slow down. And life rewards those who move. So don't wait. Decide. Change doesn't require a miracle, it just needs you to believe you're worth the effort. And you are. You know what the trap is? The one so many of us fall into? We wait. We sit around waiting to feel something. Waiting on motivation like it's a bus coming down the street. We keep saying, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll start when the timing's right. I'll start when it makes sense. But let me be real with you, that bus ain't coming. Not today, not tomorrow. You keep waiting on motivation, you might be waiting for the rest of your life. Let me break this down as clear as I can. You won't feel like it, not at first. You're not going to wake up with trumpets blaring and sunlight shining through your window like some movie scene. Most days, you're going to wake up tired, you're going to wake up stressed, you're going to wake up feeling like hitting snooze, but that's not the point. The point ain't whether you feel like it, the point is whether you do it anyway. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up inspired to do that, do you? You don't sit there staring at the toothbrush saying, I'm so motivated today, number. You do it because you know what happens if you don't. You don't do it for the joy, you do it for the consequence. You do it because it's part of taking care of yourself, part of keeping your standard. Discipline is no different. Discipline is the thing you do because your future depends on it, not because your feelings gave you permission. You want to start changing your life? Start small. That's the secret. Not flashy, not grand small. Start by waking up 30 minutes earlier. That's it. Just give yourself a little more space in your day. Don't jump straight into some 5 a.m. miracle routine if that ain't you. Just 30 minutes. That time adds up. That time is yours. Start walking 20 minutes a day. Not sprinting, not running a marathon, just walking. Get your body moving. Get your blood flowing. You'd be amazed what 20 minutes of stillness in motion will do for your mind. Some of the greatest ideas you'll ever have won't come while you're sitting, they'll come while you're walking. Let that energy circulate through you. Make that movement sacred. It's your moment to show up for yourself. Drink water like it's your job. I know it sounds simple. I know some folks think, that can't be the thing that changes my life. But let me tell you something. Your body is a machine, and it can't run on coffee and stress alone. Hydration is discipline. Every sip is a reminder, I'm worth taking care of. I'm not going to treat myself like a second-class citizen anymore. That's self-respect in a glass, and it's small, but it matters. Start journaling. Not for Instagram, not to impress anybody, just to get your thoughts out of your head and onto the page, because some of y'all are carrying around too much noise, too much clutter. You're thinking 1,000 thoughts a minute and wondering why you feel heavy all the time. Write it down. Release it. You don't need to solve everything today, you just need to name it. Journaling gives shape to the chaos. It turns confusion into clarity. And you don't have to write a novel, just a few lines a day. That's it. No pressure, no rules, just truth. And here's the part people forget. You have to do it even when you don't want to. That's where the magic is. That's where the change happens. Anybody can show up when it's easy, but doing it tired, doing it when your heart's not in it, when your back is against the wall, when your mind is screaming for comfort, that's what builds character. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. Habits don't care how you feel. Habits are neutral. They just ask one thing from you: consistency. They want to know if you're serious. They want to know if you're for real. It's like this: every action you take is a vote. That's not me saying that. That's from James Clear in Atomic Habits. Every little choice you make is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. So when you skip the workout, that's a vote for being inconsistent. When you show up for just 5 minutes, even when you're exhausted, that's a vote for resilience. When you sit down and write your goals, drink that water, take that walk, that's you casting votes, one after another, brick by brick. And before you know it, you've built something. Something solid, something real. People underestimate the power of small. They want change to look big and dramatic. But that ain't how it works. Real change, it's sneaky, it's slow. It creeps in while you're not paying attention. You go to bed thinking nothing's happening, then wake up one day and realize you're not who you used to be. You look in the mirror and see a new posture, a new energy, a new level of peace. Not because you moved a mountain, but because you picked up the same rock every day and placed it in the same direction. And that consistency, that's what moves the mountain. Let me tell you this, student, go chasing perfect. Don't think you have to nail it every single day. Life is messy. You'll slip, you'll forget, you'll fall. That's part of it. But if you fall 7 times and get up 8, that's the win. Progress isn't perfection, progress is persistence. It's saying, yeah, I missed a day, but I'm not done. It's looking at yourself in the mirror with grace and saying, we're still in this. Because this life doesn't reward intensity, it rewards consistency. It rewards people who are willing to do the boring, the ordinary, the simple things again and again until they become extraordinary. You want to change your life? Don't wait for a revolution. Start with a rhythm. Start with something so small you can't say no. Something that fits in your pocket, something that fits into today. You're not as far as you think. You're not as lost as you feel. You're just one small habit away, and then another, and another. So whatever it is, just start. Start tiny. Start today. But start. Because if you can do the small things when no one's watching, you're already becoming the kind of person who can handle the big things when they come. That's how you change. One vote at a time, one habit at a time, one quiet moment of self-respect at a time. And the good news? You don't have to wait another second to begin. You can start right now. Now listen to me, because this is the part most people want to skip over. This is the truth that makes folks uncomfortable. This is the mirror you might not want to look into, but you need to. Your environment. It will either shape you or shatter you. It will either water your dreams or slowly choke them out. And most of the time, it's not loud. It's not obvious. It's subtle. It creeps in like smoke. You don't notice it at first, then one day you wake up and you can't breathe. You can't hang around negative people and expect to live a positive life. That's just not how it works. That's like planting a seed in poison and expecting it to grow. If the people you spend the most time with complain more than they build, if they mock your ambition instead of feeding it, if they drain your energy every time they open their mouth, you need to ask yourself one question. Why are they still that close to me? I'm not saying stop loving them. I'm saying love them from a distance. Not because you're better than them, but because you've got somewhere to be, and they're not coming with you. You're trying to fly, and they're holding your wings down. And sometimes that they ain't a stranger. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's someone you grew up with. Somebody who once meant the world to you. And that's what makes it hard. But listen, you don't owe anyone access to your future just because they knew your past. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. You can thank them for their time in your life and still move forward. Don't let guilt chain you to an old version of yourself. Don't let loyalty keep you tied to dysfunction. You've got to protect your peace. That's not selfish, that's survival. And let's talk about what you feed your mind. Because your environment ain't just people, it's what you watch, what you scroll, what you tolerate. You spend 2 hours a day on social media looking at people's highlight reels, comparing their best days to your regular days, and then wonder why you feel empty, why you feel behind. That's not reality you're looking at, that's a filtered fantasy. And if you're not careful, you start thinking you're the only one struggling. You start thinking success means always smiling, always winning, always having it together. But that's a lie. See, the problem isn't that people are winning. The problem is you think they're only winning. You don't see the late nights, the tears, the failed attempts, the pain behind the post. You see the mountaintop, but not the climb. And the more you compare, the more you forget that you're on your own journey, your own timeline, your own story. And it's worth telling, even if it doesn't look like theirs. Start being intentional with what you consume. Because everything you allow into your space is either lifting you up or pulling you down. Everything. That television show you binge that leaves you numb. That podcast full of gossip. That friend who always has something negative to say about everyone. These are seeds. And you better believe they grow roots in your spirit. Instead, surround yourself with people who clap when you win. I mean, genuinely clap. Not the fake applause. Not the I'm clapping but I'm low-key jealous energy. No, I mean the ones who see you shine and help you shine brighter. The ones who aren't intimidated by your progress, who aren't trying to keep you small so they feel bigger. Those are your people. And if you don't have them yet, go find them. They exist. But you won't find them if you keep lowering your energy to fit into rooms you've outgrown. Read books that stretch your mind. I'm serious. You can't grow if you're only consuming content that tells you what you already know. Challenge yourself. Learn something new. Get uncomfortable. Growth lives in discomfort. You've got to feed your brain something that shakes it up, that gets it thinking, that breaks it out of autopilot. Even if it's just 10 pages a day, that's 10 more than yesterday. That's 10 pages closer to who you're becoming. And listen to voices that remind you of your power, not your past. Because some people, some voices, you got to tune them out. Not just the ones outside, but the ones inside too. That inner critic that keeps pulling out the old highlight reel of your mistakes, your failures, your regrets. That voice will kill your future before you even take the first step. You've got to replace that voice. Drown it out with something stronger, something truer. Find voices that speak life into you. Watch interviews that motivate you. Listen to speakers who've walked through fire and came out with wisdom. Fill your space with the sound of possibility. You've got to treat your environment like it's sacred. Because it is. This is your garden. Your soul is the soil, and what you allow to take root will determine what you grow. It's that real. You want peace? Plant peace. You want discipline? Plant it. You want success, joy, growth? Then stop planting stress, noise, and distraction. And don't just hope the weeds won't grow, pull them out. Ruthlessly, relentlessly, even if they look familiar. Even if they once felt like home. Some of you are blaming yourself for not growing, when really you've just been in the wrong soil. That's it. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're broken. It's that you've been trying to thrive in a place that doesn't support your bloom. Change the soil. Change the light. Get some sun on your face. Find a space where you're allowed to evolve. Because I'll tell you this, your gifts, your purpose, your greatness, it needs room. It needs a space that nourishes it, not poisons it. And if you're brave enough to clean house, to create that environment, to build that foundation, then there's no limit to what you can become. But it starts with honesty. You've got to look around and ask yourself, is this helping me grow or keeping me stuck? And once you answer that, you act with clarity, with courage, with conviction. Because your environment is not a small thing, it's everything. Let me remind you of something that this world will try to make you forget. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are not too far gone. I know life has tried to convince you otherwise. I know the weight gets heavy, the nights get long, the silence gets loud, but listen to me, you're still here. And that means something. It means you've made it through every storm that's ever tried to take you out. Every heartbreak, every failure, every time you got knocked down and didn't think you'd ever stand again, you made it. You might have crawled, you might have cried, but you didn't quit. You're still breathing. You're still waking up. That means you've survived 100% of your worst days. Let that sink in. Every bad day you thought would break you. I didn't. You're still standing. Might have a few scars, sure. But scars don't mean you're broken. Scars mean you healed. Scars mean you fought. So tell me something, if you've already survived that much, if you've already carried yourself through hell and back, what makes you think you can't change your life now? What makes you believe you can't shift your habits, change your mindset, take control of your health, your money, your peace? Who told you that? Who made you believe you weren't strong enough? I'm here to remind you that you are. You are built for this. You have everything it takes, not later, not next year, right now. But you gotta believe it long enough to act on it. That's the key. See, the problem for most of us ain't ability, it's belief. We don't lack potential, we just lack the faith in ourselves to start. And that doubt, that voice in your head that says you can't, that voice is lying. That voice is the ghost of every time you failed and didn't forgive yourself. That voice is not your truth. Your truth is your endurance. Your truth is your ability to survive. And if you've survived this far, then why stop now? You don't need permission to change. Let me say that again. You don't need anyone's approval to level up. You don't need somebody to tap you on the shoulder and say, you're allowed to become great now. That's not how it works. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you the life you dream about. But you don't need a handout. You just need a decision. One choice. One moment where you say, I'm done living beneath my potential. I'm done settling for average. I'm done letting fear run my life. You don't need a sign. This is your sign. That fire you feel in your chest when I say this, that's your soul remembering who it is. That's your spirit rising up. That's the version of you that's been buried under doubt and disappointment but never died. You just stopped listening to it for a while. Life has a way of doing that. You get knocked around long enough, you start to think pain is all there is. You start to think struggle is your permanent address. But let me tell you something, you may have lived in the storm, but you belong in the sunlight. You may have walked through the fire, but you weren't meant to stay burned, you were meant to rise. Think about it. There were times when you were tired beyond words. Times you were grieving silently. Times you showed up for others when nobody was showing up for you. And you didn't quit. You didn't fall apart, even when you felt like you were. That's strength. That's resilience. That's power. You might not see it, but I do. And deep down, you know it too. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening. Because you're ready to remember what you're made of. And don't let anyone downplay your struggle. Don't let anyone make you feel weak, because your journey doesn't look like theirs. Everybody's path is different. But pain is universal. And overcoming it, that's where greatness lives. Not in perfection, not in always getting it right, but in standing back up when you get it wrong. You want strength? Go look in the mirror. You've been lifting emotional weight for years. You've been carrying burdens nobody sees. But that's about to change, because from this moment on, you start treating yourself like someone who matters. You want a new body? Build it one rep at a time. You want a better mind? Feed it one book, one idea, one good habit at a time. You want a better life? Build it brick by brick. You don't need to jump the mountain, you just need to take the first step. That's how change begins, not with a leap, with a step, and then another, and then another. But you have to believe you're worth the effort. You have to believe your life is still yours to shape. You may have been through trauma, through loss, through disappointment that left you breathless, but none of that disqualifies you. In fact, it qualifies you. Because once you've been through the fire and come out the other side, you don't fear the heat anymore. You learn how to walk through it. You learn how to use it to forge something stronger. You learn that pain has a purpose, and sometimes that purpose is to remind you of the fight inside you. You are not here by accident. You are not hearing these words by chance. You were made for more, and deep down, you know it. Even if life has tried to make you forget, some part of you is still holding on. And that part of you? That's the part I'm talking to right now. That's the part that's ready. That's the part that doesn't want to just survive anymore, wants to live, to thrive, to take back the wheel and say, I've been through too much to stop here. So let me say it again for the ones in the back, for the tired, the doubting, the grieving, the frustrated, the lost. You've survived 100% of your worst days. You're still here. You're still breathing. That means you've got more left in you, more life, more strength, more chapters to write. This is not your end. This is your start. Look, let's get one thing straight right now. Nobody climbs a mountain alone. You don't reach the top by yourself. You don't carry the weight of transformation on your back and expect to stay standing without somebody helping you steady the load. Life wasn't designed to be walked solo. That's a lie the world sells you. Be strong, be independent, do it yourself. And while strength is good, while grit is necessary, what you really need, what every strong person has, is accountability. You want to change your life? Tell somebody. Speak it out loud, not to everybody, not to the whole world, but to somebody. Somebody who will remember what you said when you're ready to forget. Somebody who's not impressed by your excuses. Somebody who doesn't buy into your self-doubt. You need people who won't just cheer when you're winning, they'll challenge you when you're slipping. Because you will slip. Let's not lie about that. Change is not clean, it's not easy, it's messy, it's frustrating, it will stretch you in places you didn't know could stretch. But that's not failure, that's growth. Difficulty doesn't mean you're losing, it means you're learning. Pressure isn't the enemy, it's the process. You want to build muscle? You have to pick up heavy things. You want to grow? Life's going to put some weight in your hands. That's how it works. But you weren't meant to carry it all alone. See, the problem with trying to do it alone is that the moment your emotions get loud, and, trust me, they will get loud, you start negotiating with yourself. You say, maybe I'll take a break today. Then that turns into, maybe tomorrow. Then a week goes by, a month, and suddenly you're right back where you started, wondering how you got off track. That's why you need accountability. That's what keeps you in the gym when your feelings try to drag you out. That's what gets you out of bed when the comfort of quitting whispers in your ear. Let me tell you something, one of the most powerful things you can have in this world is someone who won't let you lie to yourself. Someone who sees your potential and your patterns. Who celebrates your wins, but doesn't let them become your ceiling. Who loves you enough to say, nah, you said you wanted this, so let's go. Let's get back up. That kind of love, that's rare, but it's real. And when you find it, you better honor it. You better hold on to it and protect it. That kind of accountability is sacred. It's the thing that separates the ones who talk about changing their lives from the ones who actually do it. So find your tribe. Not just people who make you laugh, but people who make you grow. People who ask you the hard questions. People who don't flinch when you get uncomfortable. You want to change your life? Get in rooms that challenge you. Sit with people who are further along than you. Let their discipline rub off on you. Let their vision stretch yours. Because sometimes it's not that you're lazy, it's that you're not inspired. You've been the biggest fish in a small pond for too long. It's time to step into deeper water. And when you do, expect resistance. Because growth always comes with friction. Your old life will tug at you. Old habits, old voices, old patterns, they'll all try to pull you back. That's where accountability shows up like a lighthouse in the fog. It reminds you of the promise you made to yourself. It reminds you of why you started. And sometimes it doesn't even take words. Just a look from the right person at the right time can realign your spirit. That's the power of walking with people who want to see you win. But don't get it twisted. Accountability isn't about judgment, it's not about control, it's about care. It's about somebody loving you enough to hold up a mirror and say, look, this isn't who you are, you're better than this, let's get back on track. That's not criticism, that's compassion. That's somebody fighting with you, not against you. And if you don't have those people yet, then be that person first. Show up for others. Be honest. Be present. Be encouraging. Create a circle of trust. Because what you give out will come back to you. Start building the kind of environment where growth is normal. Where accountability isn't awkward, it's welcomed. Because we all need someone. Not to carry us, but to walk with us. Shoulder to shoulder. Eye to eye. Soul to soul. Think about any great athlete, any powerful leader, any person you admire. They didn't get there by hiding in the shadows. They had coaches. They had mentors. They had teammates who pushed them when they got tired, who reminded them who they were when they forgot. Accountability isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's strength that recognizes its limits and says, I can go further if I don't go alone. So tell somebody what you're trying to do. Speak your vision, write it down, share it with someone who believes in your greatness, even when you don't feel it yourself. And don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. Start where you are. Start with what you have. And bring someone with you who's not afraid to tell you the truth with love. Because that's what this journey is really about. It's not just about goals and grind, it's about growth. And growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community, in connection, in real, raw, honest relationships. That's where the magic lives. That's where the breakthrough begins. So the next time you feel tired, the next time you feel like giving up, don't just rely on willpower. Reach out. Lean in. Let someone check on you. Let someone remind you. You said you were building something. You said this mattered. You said you were tired of playing small. And they'll look you in the eye and they'll say, then let's go. Let me close with this. And I want you to really hear me this time. 30 days will pass whether you do something or not. That clock is ticking. Not tomorrow. Right now. That same clock that's moving when you're working is moving when you're waiting. When you're watching, when you're scrolling, when you're wishing. The time doesn't stop because you didn't feel ready. It doesn't pause just because life got hard. That clock keeps moving. Every single second. And the question is not whether time will pass. The question is, who are you going to be when it does? Because in 30 days, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to look back and thank yourself for showing up, or you're going to wish you had. That's the truth. That's the fork in the road we all face. Every morning you wake up, you get to choose. Am I going to live in excuses, or am I going to live in execution? Let's stop pretending like we don't know the difference. Let's stop acting like we need another sign, another podcast, another motivational quote, another reason to believe in ourselves. You don't need another sign. You don't need permission. This is your sign. Right here, right now. This moment is your line in the sand. Because let me tell you something, what you do in the next 30 days could be the difference between staying where you are and stepping into everything you were meant to become. I'm not talking about magic. I'm not talking about fairy tales. I'm talking about discipline. I'm talking about ownership. I'm talking about deciding that your future deserves more than your excuses. You say you're tired? Good. That means you're ready. You say you've been stuck? Good. That means you're aware. You say it's hard? Yes, it is. But that doesn't make it impossible. The truth is, every transformation starts with a decision, not a condition. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need the stars to align. You just need to decide that the next 30 days are going to look different because you are going to show up different. And it's not about overhauling your whole life in one night. Nah, that's not sustainable. That's not real. What's real is waking up and saying, today I'm going to choose better. I'm going to eat a little cleaner. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to put down the phone and pick up a book. I'm going to speak life instead of doubt. I'm going to do the small thing that builds the big thing. Because that's how change happens. Not in a moment, but through a momentum you build step by step, choice by choice. And if you can hold that line for 30 days, not perfectly, but consistently, you won't just change a habit. You'll change how you see yourself. You'll go from doubting your strength to living in it. From reacting to life to creating it. From surviving to thriving. But none of that happens if you keep waiting for the right mood, waiting for motivation, waiting for fear to disappear. Listen to me, fear doesn't go away. You don't wait for courage. You walk with it. You take it with you. You say, yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I'm unsure, but I'm moving anyway. You don't bury fear. You build through it. And let me say this to the person who's listening right now and thinking, but I've tried before. I've failed before. What if I try again and fall again? Let me tell you what's worse than falling, never moving. Regret doesn't come from falling. It comes from staying down. So what if you fell before? So what if you missed the mark? You're still here, aren't you? That means there's still more in you. Still breath in your lungs. Still purpose in your bones. So why not now? Why not give yourself 30 days of showing up like your life depends on it, because it does. Your peace depends on it. Your confidence depends on it. Your family, your legacy, your future, they all depend on what you decide to do next. And if you're willing, just willing to trade your excuses for execution, if you're willing to trade your distractions for discipline, your fear for just a little bit of faith, then I promise you 30 days from now, you won't even recognize the person you were. You'll be standing taller, speaking bolder, living clearer. You won't be wondering what if, you'll be saying what's next. You want to change your life? You can. I'm telling you, you absolutely can. But you've got to be bold enough to say, this is where it starts. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next Monday. Not on your birthday. Right now. So I need you to do something. Not for me, for you. I need you to stand up. I don't care where you are, your room, your car, your office. Stand up, go to the mirror, look yourself in the eye. Not the version of you the world sees. Not the mask. You, the real you, the tired you, the hopeful you. The you that's been fighting battles in silence. The you that's still here despite it all. Look that person in the eye and say, let's go. Day one starts now. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you believe it. Because the clock is ticking. And when these next 30 days are up, you'll either have excuse or you'll have results. But you won't have both. So which one are you going to choose? Let's go.